Hey guys, it's time once again for another edition of Foxy Facts, the series that gets absolutely no views, but I couldn't give a shit less because I really enjoy making these videos. The entire purpose of these is for me to reply to comments and the occasional hate mail or two, and I'm doing this a little bit different than the last couple times. There's going to be gameplay footage as well as this live kind of camera footage of me just going through the comments and really just, I guess, replying to them. The gameplay footage that you are going to be viewing is from Modern Warfare 2. The very first match I played in numerous years, and it was actually featured in another video. With that said, let's just get right on to the very first comment, or I guess section of comments, is that every so often I would get comments on my Rise and Fall Midway videos where they'll ask things like why I didn't talk about certain Midway games that I didn't cover in that particular video. The thing is, guys, it is almost impossible for me to cover every single game that Midway developed or produced, whatever the case may be, in a video like a Rise and Fall type thing. Because that would take like 2-3 hours, and that's just not something I was wanting to do, and it really didn't serve the purpose of the video. The Rise and Fall of Midway was supposed to cover more of like the more influential things and what really made Midway games dive bomb into basically nothingness. And yeah, there were certain games maybe I should have covered, like The Suffering or whatever else. But again, it's like, it's impossible for me to cover all the Midway games. That's for a totally different video. That didn't serve the purpose of what I was trying to do whatsoever. The next comment says, "You are so cute." Thanks. Alright, I don't know. Data Design's downfall was their own fault. If they made decent games instead of cheaply made shovelware, they would probably still be around. Yes and no. There are plenty of game companies that have made tons of just dog shit games that are still in existence. However, all it takes, honestly, is one really bad game, one complete flop to completely ruin a business. And it's happened and has been done numerous times before. Like, I have seen game companies that have been around that'll go from, like, one generation of consoles into the next one, make their very first game for that new generation of consoles, and just it bombed so bad and the game company is no longer in business. There's been a handful of them. For some reason I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I know it's a thing. So game companies can make shitty games and make a lot of money from them and still be around. And there's also game companies that'll just possibly even make amazing games that just didn't do well when it came out, and they're not around anymore. It is what it is. This next comment reads, and I don't know if English is his first language, so I'm probably going to be butchering this. "I never call any game worst because I appreciate the people behind the game because they spent time to make or made a game. I respect all game, not graphically, but all game is worth." Basically, he's just saying that I appreciate people making the games because they put time and effort into it. You know, whatever. Yes and no. If it's a scam, I cannot sit there and appreciate anything they're doing behind it. Or if the game is absolutely flawed in every conceivable way, I'm not the type of person that can sit there and be like, well, you know what, I'll give them a pass because, you know, they put some effort into it and blah, blah, blah. If something is shit, it's shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to give it a pass because they spent time and effort into it. Why would I? Why would anyone? I don't know. Whatever. Everything is just half-ass. But it's true, there's a certain charm to it. And this is regarding Dead Alliance, a game on the PS4 that I reviewed. It is half-ass, and yes, there's a certain charm to it. You know, Dead Alliance is one of those games where it's like, God, this game is just terrible, but I can't get enough of it. And there's not too many games that I can say that to, but when you do find a game that's so bad that it's fun to play, it's almost more enjoyable than like something like The Last of Us, or something that like an Uncharted. Anything that's like actually enjoyable to play for a good reason. Dead Alliance is more fun to play because it's like, what were they thinking? But it's kind of fun. I don't know. Maybe that makes no sense, but in my fucked up mind it does. So this next thing here is a section of comments between two people, and I kind of want to chime in too because I think this is interesting. The first comment is, why was there an Anubis 2 when there was never a first game? Something that I said in a video of the rise and fall of DDI. He also goes to say, well, to answer that question, the most likely interpretation is that the character is the second incarnation of Anubis, so it's supposed to read as Anubis the Second. Of course, how the hell can anyone know that, since it's nowhere in the game that it's established as him being Anubis the Second? The next person that comments says, the problem is the main character in Anubis 2 is just referred to as Anubis in the manual, and at the back of the game cover rather than Anubis 2. Plus, Data Design Interactive made one game literally called Rig Racer 2, despite there being no Rig Racer 1. This to me is interesting. I completely forgot they never even made a Rig Racer 1, but really, why did they do that? Why was there an Anubis 2? Why was there a Rig Racer 2? What was the logic behind it? And that's something I would love to ask anyone at DDI that was involved in either of those two games, because it really doesn't make any sense. It's like if I made a game called, I don't know, Yamaha Racer 6, but there was never a 1 through 5. For some reason, I just decided to put 6 at the end of it. Why? What's the logic behind it? I don't know. I just think it's very interesting. So, the very last thing I want to bring up before I end this video is, people tell me all the time how I'm like one of the strongest people they know, or that I'm strong in general because I survived death a couple times while I was in the hospital dealing with my pyoderma gangrenosum and sepsis and all that. Saying that I'm strong in general, you know, I appreciate it, but I don't feel that way whatsoever. I do not feel that I am a strong person at all just because I survived death, or that I'm dealing with a disease that I just can't help. To me, in my world, in my eyes, whatever, I don't really have much of a fucking choice. You know, it's not like I chose to have a disease. It's not like I chose to survive or chose to die or whatever. Everything just kind of fell into place, and this is what I have to deal with. So, if that makes me a strong person for dealing with that, then I guess... Does that make me a strong person because I deal with pain every single day? You know, I guess, but at the end of the day, I don't really have a choice. Unless I just fucking kill myself, and I'm not going to do that. So... Again, while I appreciate that, and I really do, but I don't, if I would enlighten me why that makes me strong, because I don't understand it. I don't get it. Not to end on such a dour note, you know, but, you know, it is what it is. But thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate you all for supporting me and just kind of being there with me for this long, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.